I am the very model of a modern Major General. I've information, vegetable, animal, and mineral. I know the kings of England, and I quote the Christ's oracle from Robert to Waterloo in all categorical. I'm very good at integral and differential calculus. I know the scientific names of beings and amalgamous. In short, in matters vegetable, animal, and mineral, I am the very model of a modern Major General. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sorry about that, Savoyards and music lovers. But it seemed such a good idea at the time. Still. And as good a way as any to introduce a man who's celebrating his 35th year with Gilbert and Sullivan, and who for 20 years was the principal comedian with the D'Oyly Cart Company. From the Major General to Coco, from the Lord Chancellor to the ruler of the Queen's Navy, from the pirates to the yeoman, from the Mikado to Pinafore. He starred and continues to star in them all. Welcome, John Reed. Ah, well, it's good to see you. 35 years professionally singing Gilbert and Sullivan.
That's right.
It's all eased up a bit now since copyright has gone, but was there a great deal of formality in the early days?
There was really. I think when I first joined the company, for instance, you know, we had what we called the train call. That was everybody collecting together to move on to the next area. And there would be a compartment for the staff.
Yes.
A compartment for the wardrobe, etc., and a compartment for the principals, and another one for the chorus. And Cynthia Morey, who was with me, and a friend of mine, was a principal. And of course, we were broke it down for the simple reason she wanted to sit with me, so that eventually it all broke up and they all intermingled eventually.
All the old class.
But I mean, you never saw anyone come to the rehearsals in slacks or jeans in those days. They were always Miss Cart's young ladies, and wore suits and dresses and so forth, all very decent.
Extraordinary. You weren't an experienced singer when you joined?
No, I wasn't. I was in rep in the north of England, and so I was whisked away very quickly. And I remember the first time, I joined them in Newcastle, which is about 30 miles from my home. And when I went to the theatre, and I was going around the theatre, and I walked past the dressing room doors, and everybody were doing the exercises and things like, you know, la 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 la, mini mini me, mini mini me, mini mini hip bath, hip bath, hip bath, was coming from all these dressing rooms.
Yeah, well, what's that supposed to do?
I don't know, it was a kind of joke. Yeah. I think, but it started with hip bath. Jeffrey Skitch was the guy who used to do this. And they all had their own particular one. Well, I didn't know any. I hadn't any. I'd never done that. So I went into my dressing room, and I pretended. Oh, whatever.
But you never felt any necessity to do any of the vocal training?
No. We would have, if I ever shared a dressing room with Ken Sanford, for instance, Ken would warm up and everything else, and I would sit very quietly and make up, and then just as I'm walking out of the door, I'd say, it's there, and I'd be on.
But of course, Gilbert and Sullivan, particularly the lyrics of Gilbert, were extraordinarily wordy. I mean...
Yes.
Obviously, there's a great tradition of people doing it in school and doing it in amateur dramatics, so they know most of the words. But how do you make those patter songs intelligible?
Well, you see, first of all, I was really doing reps. So I was learning a play a week. And when I had to learn these plays, I practically rewrote them, you know, because, I mean, it wasn't exactly every word. But Isidore Godfrey, who used to be the musical director for about 35 years, he would stop me and say, that's the note you're singing? What's that word you're singing there? And so I had to go home and relearn the things and really start from scratch.
Those were in the disciplinarian days.
And you cannot really work them in a parrot fashion, really. Yeah. You know, I mean, if you're going to sing something like, when I went to the bar as a very young man, said I to myself, said I'll work on a new. But then you get to learn it so that you tell a story. Yeah. When I went to the bar as a very young man, said I to myself, said I'll work on a new and original plan, said I to myself, said I. So that that helps an awful lot.
Yeah. But as I say,
the continuity that runs through the whole.
There was a great deal of convention about D'Oyly Cart, traditionally upheld. But you broke the mold a little bit. You were a bit of an innovator in the comic business. I mean, how did they take to that?
It was rather like when one started, you know, you were schooled as an understudy. I was an understudy for 7 or 8 years, I think. And then once you became the principal, then he allowed you to do whatever you liked, really. Now, in this particular opera, HMS Pinafore.
Oh, yes.
Very well dressed, too,
Thank
I would say. And there, they had about 7 encores, I think, for the bell trio, which I'm hoping you'll sing with me later on. And,
Try and stop me.
and then, of course, they applauded one night and they said, you know, they had me back and I had nothing really rehearsed. So I thought, right, what can I do that's new? I thought, I'll jump overboard. So I said to the audience, and I went to the back and jumped overboard. I'd hired a lifeboat to come back on with, which I had to have one of the choruses, someone stand in front of it. Otherwise, it would have been stopped. But so off the encore happened, and I went out, jumped overboard, and they fell about. And Isidore Godfrey, who was conducting, as I said, was so shocked he fell off the box, you know. The audience fell about laughing, and of course, it was in. I had won, because then the fans demanded it. They wouldn't go on until they got that on.
What do you think of when the copyright expired for D'Oyly Carte? Then people were able to take liberties with Gilbert. So what do you think, for instance, of Joe Papp's production?
Oh, I love it.
Pirates of Penzance.
I love it. I love that sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, I go to America now, as you know, a lot to direct over there and play still. And I change things a lot. I tell them this is traditional. They don't know any different, so I tell them. But I mean, I've just recently done, for instance, trial by jury with the Colorado University. Wonderful people, wonderful. And there I did trial by jury in the flapper period. So we had all the girls coming out.
But so you're directing now as well as acting?
Yes.
And do you find that completely different? I mean, you didn't direct when you were with D'Oyly Carte.
I like that very much.
Yeah. Will you do a bit of directing for me?
Incidentally, there's something I've got to say. Maybe you won't like this. But in the person that I met in the company, Norman Meadmore, who is the founder of the London Savoy Arts, which I'm going to work for pretty soon, actually in the Barbican on the 27th to the 30th. Remember that.
Get the plug in, John.
I got the plug in.
Good man.
But anyhow, he in 1959 went to Dublin and directed you playing Antonio in Gondoliers, which, as a matter of fact, I was playing at the same time.
We're playing it at the same time.
We did it together.
You have advanced a great deal further than I have. So perhaps you'll direct me, will you, in a little song, the Bell song?
After that song, I don't think you need it.
Go on.
Don't you? I think it was excellent.
No, I need the direction, I promise you. Come on, let's go over, John, and we'll join Kate Flowers in the part of Josephine, and our accompanist, a very brave man. Kate Flowers, welcome, my dear.
Hello, Daddy.
Thank you. I'm father for this, sorry. Yes, right. I'll put the hat down because I have a very vital role to play here, ladies and gentlemen, and I would like you to give me all the support. Ready. Good luck, Kate.
All right.
Right. Thank you.
Never mind the why and wherefore, love can level ranks and therefore, though your naughty filled relation in my sacred scarcely pass, though you occupy a station in the lower middle class. Ring the merry bells of Lordship, rend the air with warning wine, for the union of the Lordship with the humble captain's child.
For a humble captain's daughter.
For a gallant captain's daughter.
And a lord who rules the water.
And a tar who plows the water.
Let's there with joy beladen rend the sons the air above, for the union of the Lordship with the men who hold so
Never mind the why and wherefore, love can level ranks, and therefore, though his lordship's station mighty, though stupendous be his brain, though her tastes are mean and flighty, and her fortunes poor and plain.
Ring merry bells and Lordship rend there with wadding wine, for the union of the Lordship with the humble captain's child.
For a humble captain's daughter.
For a gallant captain's daughter.
And a lord that rules the water.
And a tar who plows the water.
Let's there with joy beladen rend the songs the air above, for the union of the Lordship with the men who hold
Never mind the why and wherefore, love can level ranks, and therefore I admit the jurisdiction. Ably have you played your part. You have carried firm conviction to my hesitating heart.
Ring the merry bells, the Lordship rend the air with wadding wine, for the union of the Lordship with the humble captain's child.
For a humble captain's daughter.
For a gallant captain's daughter.
And a lord that rules the water.
and the tar who plows the water. Let's hear with joy belated.
Ring the merry bells on board ship.
For the union of the major.
For the union of my lordship. Ring of the air above. For the man who owns a lot. Ring of the air above. For the man who owns.
Thank you indeed.